All right, it is now 12:03. Thank you for waiting, everybody. Today's Lunch and Learn is Veteran and Human Services, and I am very pleased to welcome the Summit Assistant Dog, Special Olympics Washington, everyone for veterans, outdoors, and outdoors for all. My name is Camille Nagasawa. I'll be your campaign assistant hosting for this Lunch and Learn, and I want to just thank all of you who came out here today and Annabelle for setting this all up. We can do a very brief round of introductions with the organizations, and then it will be Emma to take us off with the Summit Assistant Dogs. Anyone of the organizations would like to introduce themselves first?
Sure, I can go. I'm Tina O'Brien. I'm with Special Olympics Washington.
I'll jump in. I'm Ed Bronston with the Outdoors for All Foundation. Hope you can hear me.
I'm Emma with Summit Assistance Dogs.
I'm Jessica Elwell with Everyone for Veterans.
Excellent. Now, as a gentle reminder, we are going to keep questions, any questions towards the end of our Lunch and Learn in the last 10 to 15 minutes. So if you have any, please put them in chat and we'll get to those at the end. So Emma, I believe you're up first.
Sounds great. Thank you. So I'm just going to share my screen. All right. Okay, so thank you so much for having us today. I'm Emma, and I'm the Development and Communications Coordinator at Summit Assistance Dogs. And I just want to check, can you all see the PowerPoint okay, where you don't see yourselves? Okay, because your view is a little different from mine, I think. So yeah, we're super excited to get to share a bit about our mission. So let's jump in. So we create life-changing partnerships between people and dogs, and we train and place highly skilled mobility assistance dogs. So this means our clients are living with disabilities that significantly impact their mobility. And many of our clients are living with conditions such as multiple sclerosis or cerebral palsy, or they've had accidents where they become paralyzed. So it's really a range of things. Training a service dog takes 2 full years and many hours of staff and volunteer time. And unlike other organizations, we don't charge our clients for their dogs. Many of our clients are already facing high medical costs and sometimes unemployment. So we are very, happy, and we're very proud to be able to do this for the people we serve, thanks to the support of the Summit community. So our dogs really help increase the independence for people living with disabilities. They open and close doors, they turn lights on and off, retrieve items, they will get emergency phones or medications. And of course, they help alleviate depression and provide companionship as well. We've seen so many of our clients' lives transform because of their service dogs, where they're able to keep or pursue a job or go to college, or just finally be able to live independently and go out and, to the grocery confidently on their own as well. So I'd like to show you just a short video that demonstrates some of the incredibly helpful things that our dogs can do for people living with mobility disabilities. The dog in this video has graduated and is partnered with someone, and the person in the video is one of our staff trainers. And you'll notice, it's not only about what Toby, the dog, is doing, the actions that he's you can see him taking. It's also about when he's not doing anything, because that's really important as well.
Yes. Drop. Good boy. Push.
Paws up. Here. Yes. Off. Good boy. Here.
So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea. And, you know, he can also load the dishwasher, close the dishwasher. And this is just in one room of the house. So a lot of these skills, you know, all over the house, all outside of the world, where the dogs are able to apply their skills. So there's definitely a significant need for mobility service dogs. So there's over 60 million Americans living with disabilities. And of that number, around 13% have a mobility disability. And there's a 2 to 5 year average wait time for a service dog. And this is the case for it nationally. And one of the reasons that there can be such a wait for a service dog is just because of the limited number of organizations that provide service dogs, especially for mobility needs. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview of how we train our service dogs and then go into a couple areas a little more in depth. So the puppies are of course born, and then around 8 to 10 weeks old to 1 year, they are cared for by our volunteer foster homes, which basically provide socialization, love, and some basic training for our dogs. At around 12 to 18 months old, the dogs enter intermediate training, and some of those dogs then participate in our prison program. We have a partnership with Monroe Correctional Complex where the inmates help care for our dogs 24/7, and it's a very beneficial program, and I'll be talking more about that momentarily. And then in about 18 to 24 months, the dogs go into advanced training with our staff. And then the dogs are placed at around 2 years old and then retire at about 10 years old, typically. All right, so for that first phase of training, from around 8 to 10 weeks to 1 year old, our volunteer puppy sitters and raisers play a big role in caring for the dogs. And this is also one of our biggest volunteer needs. So, you know, our volunteer puppy sitters care for our dogs in a variety of situations, such as when they're on break from the prison program, or could just benefit from a new environment as well. And then the commitment can be, you know, puppy sitting from a few hours to a few days to a week to months. It really depends on your availability and the needs for the dogs. And the people in this role basically help provide socialization and basic training and positive experiences for the dogs in that first year of life. And then we provide a ton of training and support. So if this is something that interests you, we have more information on our website. So you can visit that, or feel free to contact us as well at info@summitdogs.org. So then in intermediate training, I spoke a bit about our Monroe prison program. And so the dogs live in the cells with the inmates who provide 24/7 care, and Summit provides instruction and training weekly for the participants in the program. And it's a really mutually beneficial program. The inmates learn compassion, new skills, you know, the dog training skills, of course, but also inmates have commented about learning things like patience, collaboration, and just kind of emotional development for them as well. For us, it increases our training capacity, which is really great. And a lot of the inmates also talk about how it gives them, they like being able to give back to the community in this way. So in normal times, we typically have prison graduations throughout the year, and we're hoping maybe next year we'll be able to bring those back once things kind of potentially return to normal. So in advanced training, the dogs basically learn, they finalize their skills, and the dogs can learn up to 60 cues. And we also do matchmaking during this time, and we're very careful about it. It's not a first come, first serve basis, because we want to make sure that it's a great match for the client and for our dogs. When a team is matched, they get 2 weeks of team training. It's an intensive where they get to learn about, you know, how to communicate with their dog. They go out in the world and work together with Summit trainers. And then we provide lifetime follow-up as well. So we provide support throughout the partnership. We do at least once or twice yearly check-ins too. And then I also wanted to mention that we're building our future training campus on Whidbey Island, which is super exciting. So we're in the midst of a multi-year capital campaign for this, and it will greatly increase our capacity to train dogs and to be able to also, break that 2 to 5 year wait time, hopefully, as we're able to house and train more dogs. The first building for the campus is currently under construction, and we're excited that we're hoping it'll be opening next year in 2022. This is the K9 condo, and it will house up to 48 dogs in training. All right, and lastly, I just wanted to end on a video that really kind of visually shows the impact of these partnerships for our clients. All right, well, thank you everyone for your attention, and please feel free to contact us or visit our website for more information about our work. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It always strikes me just how smart these dogs are, and it's always so great to see the impact that they make on our lives. That being said, it is now Tina O'Brien with the Special Olympics Washington up next. Tina, take it away.
Thank you, and thank you so much, Emma. I didn't know of your program before, so I love having these moments to learn about other folks who are serving the community. Thanks so much for that. Okay, so I am going to share my screen. Let's see. Can you all see it? Yep, great. So I'm with Special Olympics Washington. My name's Tina O'Brien. I'm the VP of Development for Special Olympics. Our mission is to provide year-round sports training and athletic competition in a variety of Olympic type sports, and we serve both children and adults with intellectual disabilities. We started as a backyard summer camp for people with intellectual disabilities, and Special Olympics, as you probably know, is now a global movement that has been changing the lives and the attitudes of folks in society for more than 50 years. So through the power of sports, Special Olympics enables people with intellectual disabilities to discover new strengths and new abilities and experience successes and flex different skills. And watching folks who are affected and who compete is one of the great joys of my life. I have to be honest with you. Our global movement was founded in 1968 by Eunice Kennedy Shriver, and our mission is as vital as it today as it was then. And our mission is basically, we're a global movement that strives to create a better world by fostering the acceptance and the inclusion of all people. Who doesn't want that, right? So Special Olympics Washington, we are catalysts for inclusion. We jokingly say that, and we do mean this jokingly, that we were about inclusion before it was cool. We are the leader in sports, inclusive health, and community building, and empowering children and adults with intellectual disabilities to be valued on and off the playing field. There's a misconception out there that Special Olympics only serves children with Down syndrome. I think it's from some of the marketing from years past, but that couldn't be further from the truth. We serve folks of all ages. Our youngest athletes are 2 years old, and our oldest competitor is in his 90s. So we offer 24 Olympic style sports. We offer year-round sports and fitness programs, especially during the pandemic. We really were able to crank that up. All of our programs are at no cost at all to participants. We offer local, regional, and state competitions. One thing that most people don't know is that Special Olympics is the largest global health provider for people with intellectual disabilities around the world. In Washington, we offer free athlete health screenings. We offer training for clinical and wellness professionals, not just folks who are currently in practice, but folks, we have partnerships with universities. We're training folks who are going into practice. We have a robust athlete leadership program where we help provide athletes with experiences that can help them secure long-term employment, that can help them flex their leadership skills. As an example, the chair of our board of trustees next year is an athlete who's been involved for about 20 years. She's amazing. We have a motto, or the athletes really do, nothing about us without us. And we live that. We involve athletes in every single part of decision-making for Special Olympics Washington. And we have inclusive school programs, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. Our impact in Washington, we have in 2019, pre-pandemic, we had 19,500 participants. We have over 10,000 volunteers who work with our athletes year in and year out. We work with 180 plus unified champion schools. And what that means is that there are schools that have been partnering with us to promote inclusion in their communities. And so that could be through unified sports programs, meaning basketball teams that have persons with ID who are active players on the teams. It could be rallies, it could be educational classes. We have inclusion clubs at a bunch of schools. And so in 2019, we had 75,000 students involved in our inclusion movement, which is spectacular because, as you know, if you change perceptions of folks when they're younger, then they're less likely to create situations where folks can be bullied or excluded. I love these pictures. They make me so happy. So I just thought I'd share them with you. You can see the joy of all of our athletes on the faces of these folks. And we have in 2022 our USA Games in Orlando. And so our athletes are being informed right now that they have been selected to be part of the 2022 Games. We'll send a contingency of about 100 folks. And I can't even begin to tell you how excited people are. Like they're screaming, "Dad, did you hear that? Oh my gosh, I got selected." It's fantastic. Our first 50 years in the movement turned us into the most prominent sports organization in the world. And so Special Olympics Worldwide is in over 200 countries and jurisdictions. We serve about 6 million athletes, and we work with about 1 million unified partners. And I know this is way too much data to try to absorb during a quick session like this, but this just gives you a little snapshot of the worldwide reach. How many athletes we have, how many sports we offer. You can see that in any given day, there are 315 Special Olympics competitions happening. We have about 115 competitions every single year. We have over 500,000 coaches, and those are coaches, not assistant coaches. So we have many more folks who are also assistant coaching. And we serve, again, young athletes from age 2 on up, and work within the schools, have leadership programs, and then these robust health programs. We know that around the world, we serve about 6 million people with intellectual disabilities. We also know that there's about 200 million people around the world with intellectual disabilities. So it feels like we're just starting to scratch the surface a little bit. And then the real challenge is providing immersion experiences for folks to help shift their perceptions and to provide experiences with people with intellectual disabilities to remove the fear factor. In Washington State, again, we serve 19,500 participants. In our state, we have 180,000 persons with intellectual disabilities. And then we have a population of about 7.6 million. And so that's the area of growth for us for how many people we could involve and help shift their ideas about inclusion as a norm rather than as an exception. The reality is that we can't wait. People with intellectual disabilities face societal, political, and cultural discrimination, and that can range from minor misunderstanding to bullying and isolation and exclusion. And every single athlete that I've met with has shared heartbreaking stories of their experiences with bullying and isolation and exclusion. So I want to show you a little. I love that video so much. You can see the joy on not just the athletes' faces, but also on the faces of the folks who are helping. Our volunteers tell us that being involved with Special Olympics changes their lives, and it really affects who they are as a person. And we know that we have volunteers who have dedicated literally decades of their lives to working with our athletes, and we're so grateful for them. So if you're looking for ways to get involved with Special Olympics, here's some ways you can do it. As we return to the field, volunteering our volunteers are essential, and we need volunteers. We especially need coaches and assistant coaches. We need event volunteers. And during the pandemic, we, of course, couldn't get together in person because people with intellectual disabilities are 6 times more likely to die of COVID-19 than the general population. And so we started serving folks within their own homes and within their own communities. And we learned that 40% of our population of folks with intellectual disabilities lack either access, they lack the digital devices, or they lack digital fluency in order to be able to participate in our digital programs. And so we began last year ramping up Tech to Connect program, we call it. And so we have engaged a lot of technology volunteers who will work with athletes to train them up. We also are starting e-gaming for folks who maybe live in rural areas that just aren't able to get to a gym and work out with their peers. And so we need some volunteers for that too. We have some super fun peer-to-peer fundraising events. We do a polar plunge every winter. And this year, because of the pandemic, we're also doing what we call a polar pop, which is you can either, go to one of the sites and immerse yourself in, say, in Seattle, it's at Alki Beach, or we have a balloon kit that we'll send out, and then you could pop a balloon over your head and then promote giving to Special Olympics. We have a community challenge, which is a fitness challenge. People, lots and lots and lots of prizes for number of steps and miles walked and so forth. Of course, you can always make a personal donation, which we greatly appreciate. You can like, comment, and share our social media posts. You could help us connect with supporters and influencers. And of course, always, 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 you can promote inclusion in all parts of your world. Thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, Tina. It was so great to see those pictures, and so heartwarming to see that people are fighting hard for inclusion for all people. It was really great to see it. Our next third speaker is Jessica for Everyone for Veterans. Please take it away.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm gonna try and share screen. I am traveling today, so my setup's a little different than at home. Does this work for you? Okay, wonderful. So yes, I am the executive director here at Everyone for Veterans, and just move this so that I can see all of you. Everyone for Veterans collaborates with civilians and professionals to provide goods and services and comprehensive dental care locally and across the nation. Our veterans need our help, and E4V provides opportunities to engage in practical and tangible ways. We serve veterans who have deployed to combat or imminent danger areas and are experiencing significant financial hardship. They also have limited or no dental insurance. We provide services to spouses and minor children of eligible veterans as well, and also veterans who have experienced military sexual trauma. E4V was founded by Dr. Teresa Chang. She's a periodontist from Issaquah, Washington, and she wanted to give back to combat veterans. So she paid it forward through her dental experience at her practice. And in doing so, it became immediately apparent that there are major disparities in access to dental care for veterans. So she contacted her colleagues in the area, and they eagerly agreed to help. And it grew and grew. And in January of 2017, E4V became a registered 501c3 nonprofit. And in that time, we've had the opportunity to serve over 500 veterans in 35 states through an extensive network of pro bono dental providers and 2 university affiliated partners, including the University of Washington. So we're very grateful for that partnership and support for our veterans. Few people realize that the VA only provides dental care to veterans with a 100% disability rating, former POWs, or those who have service-related dental injuries. This leaves millions of veterans living with chronically poor dental health, and it affects their long-term success as well. Poor dental health means living every day with pain and possible infection. It leads to a declined state of systemic health, depression, and low self-esteem. Through our dental program, we're providing vital health services to these veterans who could not otherwise afford it. Our model of care is unique, and it's proven to be very effective. We recruit dental professionals in the communities where the veterans live. And by sourcing dentists living near the veterans, the travel burden is lifted and the likelihood for continuation of care is greatly increased. Jason, an Iraq War veteran, had this to say about his experience with E4V. I cannot put into words how incredibly happy I am right now. I find myself smiling a big, full smile, and I do not feel embarrassed. I'm talking more and holding my head high while I do, because my self-confidence has started returning an incredible amount, and it's all thanks to the amazing work E4V does. Many of the veterans that we serve are experiencing poverty, housing instability, food insecurity. So we developed our Wingman program. This program links volunteers and businesses with veterans to provide essential goods and services. These are things that many low-income combat veterans would struggle to obtain. Some examples of this program are food assistance, auto repair, essential household goods, infant and child supports, and much more. We involve the local community in the care of veterans, and knowing that the community is behind them is a tremendous morale boost to these veterans that we work with. They have increased morale, and that develops self-confidence, provides healing from the physical and emotional wounds of war, and contributes greatly to leading a balanced and productive life. A moving example of this program is a recent Mission Accomplished report featuring a single mother and veteran, Kara. Kara served in the Army as a human resource specialist in Afghanistan, and she lived with her 4 young children in a poorly insulated apartment. During this summer heat wave, they had a really difficult time, and she requested a portable air conditioner that would help them sleep better and improve their quality of life. We assigned this mission to Michelle, one of our new Wingman volunteers, and within a couple of hours of assigning this mission, she'd already reached out to her network and secured an AC unit. It was shipped to Kara the very next day. Kara's family is now sleeping comfortably, and it's an incredible thing. This program is really a hand up instead of a hand out. Each year, an average of 72 veterans and spouses receive comprehensive dental treatment through our program. We have a network of more than 500 partnering dentists who provide more than $300,000 in services at no cost whatsoever to the veterans that we serve. Our veterans are facing extraordinary and unparalleled challenges. This is a result of their service to our nation. Many have described returning to civilian life even more difficult than combat itself. An average of 22 veterans commit suicide every day. Veterans suffer from higher rates of unemployment, divorce, poor mental health. Homelessness for veterans is also commonplace. Nearly 1 out of every 3 homeless men have put on a uniform and served our country. 30% of veterans have disabilities as a result of their service. 22% have been diagnosed with a depressive disorder, and 30% of those who have served in combat are dealing with PTSD. The statistics are staggering, but the veterans that we have the opportunity to work with every day are so much more than statistics. To us, they're Christoph and Kara, Richard and Jason. They're members of the E4V family. And through the hands and feet of our volunteers, this mission is put into movement and lives are being changed. So if you would like to get involved, there's a few ways to do that. First, you can partner with us. E4V does not receive government funds to operate. So with the partnership of our individual champions and businesses, we're continuing to offer the services and support to veterans locally here in Washington and also throughout the nation. Support provides critical funding for our programs that support veterans and our families. Our volunteers also play a crucial role in the work that we're doing to build better communities for veterans. A few ways that you can volunteer is to become a wingman, to join our events committee, help with fundraising and outreach efforts, and provide outreach to dental and vet centers. You can also join our board of directors and ambassador corps. We're always looking for new members to join the work and mission of E4V and help advance our work. More information on how to get involved can be found on our website. That's www.everyoneforveterans.org. And before I let you go today, I have a little bit of exciting news. I'm pleased to share with you that our founder and board president, Dr. Teresa Chang, was the 2021 recipient of the American Dental Association's Humanitarian of the Year Award for her work with E4V. And also on October 28th, E4V was awarded the 2021 Better Business Bureau Spark Award. This is the most prestigious honor that a young organization can receive from the Better Business Bureau, and it confirms our commitment to character, culture, veterans, and our community. As the daughter of veterans, this work is deeply personal to me and close to my heart, and I am so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of Everyone for Veterans. So thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to connecting with you. I look forward to working with you to serve those who have served. So thank you again, and hopefully we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much, Jessica. As someone who is also a daughter of a veteran, it's really great to see how we can give back and support our veterans in our community, especially the day just before Veterans Day, I believe. That's tomorrow. Thank you again. Last but not least is Ed with Outdoors for All. Please take it away.
Thank you. And what an honor to get to that cleanup here. What great organizations. It was fun for me to see some participants with disability that I know involved in particularly the Special Olympics video. I'm inspired by the work that Emma, Tina, Jessica, and all of you are doing. We're all in a community where I think a world of how do we decrease social isolation? How do we increase people's mental health? How do we increase people's physical fitness? And how do we connect and come together despite all the negative challenges that are out there? And the good news is there are great organizations. I get to be one of the 4 speaking today, but there are fantastic organizations out there trying to make a difference. And the glass is half full or glass half empty. And thankfully, these organizations that I get to be part of, as we're talking about, are glass half full folks. I'm in my 26th year. Actually, I've just started my 27th year with the Outdoors for All Foundation, and we enrich the lives of children and adults with disabilities. I've been paid to do what I love for more than a quarter century, and then another 10 years with another nonprofit. Behind my photo is an example of one of our cycling events at a local school. Thousands of people with disabilities, lots of ways to get involved, lots of ways for people to donate, like us on social media, connect with us. We have our gala this Saturday, like all of these nonprofits speaking today. There's lots of ways for you to get involved. What I'd like to do is show two 2-minute videos to you showing how Outdoors for All began in 1979, focused on social equity for people with disabilities. A little bit like what Tina mentioned, we've been into social equity since forever, and before it became a focus. Our focus, of course, is people with disability, but what we want to make sure that anyone is able to be active in the outdoors. So I will share my screen with two very brief videos. Give me just a moment. And one more in just a moment. Bear with me.
This is the check.
You get the Verbo ad here as I'm moving to the next one. That's the wrong one. Sorry, folks. Thanks for your patience here. You'd think after 2 years of doing Zoom, we'd have this figured out. But you know what I'm going to do is just tell you a story instead, because I don't want to slow down the process. And I know we're running a little bit long here. So give me just a second. Well, I'm botching that up, so we'll just go to verbal. So thousands of adults. Our oldest participant ever was 101. Youngest was age 5. We are back and active. We've been back and active for the last year. We did have to shut down for about 9 months because of the pandemic, but we came up with a means to make things work. We did a lot more virtual programming. Yes, you can volunteer. Yes, you can be a participant with disability. And yes, you can also be engaged in other ways in supporting our organization. We welcome those connections. I'm going to put in the chat ways for people to reach me and ways for people to reach our organization. One of the best things that I would recommend for all of the organizations today is for you to like us on social media, follow us on social media, connect with us. Because if anything you heard today, whether it was about a veterans program, whether it was about Special Olympics, Washington, whether it was Outdoors for All, you and your networks can help us get the word out better. So if you can go to our websites, if you can follow us on social media, if you can like us, love us, connect with us, we would sure appreciate that. And I would just say thank you. Many more people with disabilities would like to be active in the outdoors. And the more we can all get the word out for each other, the better off we could be. So I'll close my remarks that way and happy to respond to questions afterwards.
Thank you, Ed, so much. And once again, I want to thank all of y'all for showing up, whether it's raising the next generation of beloved Tobys or liking making Special Olympics so everyone can smile, or even the veterans dental so they can smile and share their stories, and letting kids touch the snow and go outside. Your work, I believe, is deeply appreciated and irreplaceable, and may it inspire future generations to do the same. Now that I'm done monologuing and monopolizing time, I will now open it to the floor. Anybody who has questions or remarks. We have about a little more than 15 minutes to answer any questions or burning concerns that you might have.
I have a question. And this is for all of the nonprofit partners. What has been the biggest surprise as we shift back into what kind of our new normal is going to look like going forward with your programming? Like what did you learn during COVID that was kind of like, oh, this is really awesome, and why didn't we think of it before, that you're taking into your next iteration of your programs?
I'm happy to chime in from Outdoors for All's perspective. I think the social isolation that we all have faced, and we're still continuing to face, has just been so profound. And unfortunately, many people with disabilities deal with that all the time. And so the pandemic just was a negative value on them as well, and on people without disabilities. And what we've recognized is the value of coming together. We've got to do it in safe ways. So that's being vaccinated, wearing masks, staying outdoors in our case makes things work. But the value of coming together is just so much maybe taken for granted in some times, but it's not taken for granted now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This is Tina. The thing that most surprised us is we thought that about 20% of athletes statewide maybe had fluency issues with technology, but we did a huge survey and then this pilot program, and we learned it really is about 40%. And so whereas some programs I think could easily shift to digital support, it was a little harder for us. And so we worked with Kaiser Permanente, and we put together PPE kits and workout at home kits, and we were able to send those to all the athletes. But we weren't able to provide that 40%, the ongoing training and coaching that folks who had digital access were able to tune into. And so really it has hugely shifted a strategy for us, that now instead of having athletes come to us, we're figuring out more creative ways to bring our programs to them wherever they are within the state of Washington, which I think is a huge benefit, especially to folks who live in more rural areas.
I'm just going to say, I love that shift, Tina. Some of you know that Special Olympics Washington was our featured nonprofit a couple of years ago, and I really love the work you're doing. And so to hear that like you're finding new ways to reach your communities is really impressive.
I think for us at Summit, the dogs for our graduated teams really kind of took on a whole new role for many of our clients, because even pre-pandemic, for many of our clients, you know, a level of isolation, and then with the pandemic, even more. So that companionship just made it even more significant impact. And then also, Summit as an organization we've kind of really learned more of the value of virtual connection in many of our programs, whether it be like our volunteering for our puppy raisers. We had to move all of that to online, and that's, you know, been challenging, but it's actually worked out really well because we can reach more people, and we've really been able to tap into just kind of our virtual community, and that's something that I think we'll keep, you know, doing even as things become more in person as time goes on.
I think the shift that we saw at Everyone for Veterans was through our Wingman program. And that concept comes from the Air Force idea of a plane flying just next to the lead aircraft, providing protective support. And so that's what our volunteers are doing for those veterans, is providing protective support. And when that program was initiated, we really felt like there needed to be that in-person community connection to build community. And the pandemic really forced us to look at it from a different perspective. And we started connecting veterans in Tallahassee, Florida, from someone in Issaquah, and having that relationship, realizing that community can be what we make it. And over the course of that year, we saw a 350% increase in services provided to veterans because we were willing to pivot how we had done things in the past. So that's definitely something we're going to stick with and continue doing, while we're really excited for the opportunity to work in person, one-on-one with those veterans. Being able to open it up to anyone in the country has been a really powerful way to put that mission into movement.
That is amazing, Jessica. That is a huge shift. I'm really excited. I just had to come back on and say, wow, because that's amazing. Congratulations.
So I've been making comments on the chat through this whole thing, but I just wanted to thank you for coming to this Lunch and Learn today. I'm a daughter of a veteran as well. And I have a friend who is very interested in training her dog to be an assisting dog as well. And so all of these opportunities they touch a portion of my life. And so I'm grateful for that. I am 100% remote. I live in the Yakima Valley, and I looked up several of the websites, but just didn't see, it seems like your opportunities are, at least here, are mainly in the Seattle area. Are there any options for expansion out to Central Washington that I can participate in, either in the veterans one or the Outside for All, or any of the presentations that you've given today? Is there places for me out here?
So our organization has been fully virtual since its very beginning. So I myself live in Pomeroy, Washington, which is basically Idaho. So I'm not visiting you today. So yes, we have lots of virtual opportunities, and I'd be happy to connect with you about what those are. We're very used to working virtual because all of our staff does from all over the state.
Fantastic, thank you.
And we're not a veterans organization, but we absolutely have programs in the Yakima area, and we absolutely need volunteers out there. So if Special Olympics is something that you want to learn more about, we can connect offline, and I can give you some contacts out there.
Great, thank you.
I'll put this in the chat. Outdoors for All does offer programs for recovering veterans, those injured and wounded, those dealing with other disabilities. And then we have other opportunities for veterans to volunteer. Right now, we have some virtual programs that would work, including our yoga classes. And you could certainly reach out to me. We also have a traveling program. That's what's shown in the photo behind me, where we can pack a trailer full of gear and take it anywhere in the Pacific Northwest. So we have over 250 adaptive cycles in our fleet, hand cycles for people who would be wheelchair users, side-by-side bikes for people with balance issues, trikes, all sorts of things. And we can bring those to communities all throughout the region. We just need local partners. Sometimes it is another nonprofit, sometimes it's a hospital, sometimes it's a Rotary Club or a school. Many cases we have funding. We have up to 90% of the costs of funding that we can cover. We do ask for people to be invested a little bit, but if you're interested in bringing an event to Yakima, we've done it before. We'd be happy to do it again. We haven't done much in the last 2 years because of the pandemic, but we'd love to, whether it's Yakima or other communities across the state, we'd welcome those opportunities. Just reach out to me.
Wow, okay, thank you.
Summits of volunteer opportunities are right now primarily in the Puget Sound or Whidbey Island and Anacortes area. But as we continue to grow and build our permanent training campus, over time we hope to expand more to have opportunities across Washington state.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys being here. You all being here.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
I just want to take a minute. A very dear friend of mine used to volunteer for Outdoors for All when it was Ski for All, and one of the things I've loved about this Lunch and Learn is seeing the evolution of programs. So she did that years and years ago. And then a friend of mine who was actually injured in a skiing accident was able to ski again with Outdoors for All. And that was really meaningful for him and his family. And I just love hearing about and seeing how your programs evolve to meet needs, right? Like we all have this idea. Special Olympics was one thing when it started. Ski for All, Summit Assistance Dogs, right? Everyone for Veterans. We all start one place, and then it's just so exciting to see you guys hearing what your clients say and the people you serve say and need and move ahead. So I just like, as a human being, that's really meaningful for me that you treat your clients with so much dignity and respect and offer them so much support and kindness.
Well put, Jolyn. All right, we're about, if nobody else has any other questions, then I will start closing remarks and say thank you to all of our featured nonprofits for taking the time out of your schedule and coming to our humble little Lunch and Learn. And thank you to all of our guests who took time out of their schedule as well to listen to our nonprofits and learn and just being here. Now then, I will now stop talking so much because some of us have not had lunch and I'm sure you must be very hungry. So I will let you all go.
Thanks again, everyone.
Well,
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Camille, you can probably end the meeting for everyone.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.